Hello! We got a anniversary update on Sea of Thieves. This is my first Sea of Thieves video, I think. Pretty positive. Anyways, fishing. Fishing's here. Fishing's, I want to say awesome, but I've been obsessed with it. It's not hard, but I've been doing it for 3 days straight. And you might, let's back up for a second. You might be like, 3 days and you're only level 16? Right. Let me explain. So I've been working on getting all of my accommodations done. So we've caught all the Plentifins. We've caught all the Devilfish, right? The only fish that I still need is 2 Stormfishes and 1 Wildsplashes. Now, how we're doing this is we're literally going for the specific ones we still need. So when I go back to the wilds, I'm going to fish for a couple hours until I get this fish. I will not be catching these fish. So therefore, I'm not gaining a bunch of rep right now. I'm just trying to get my accommodations done. Why do you want accommodations? Because I want fishing poles. I have this sexy, glowing, look at this, lava. Oh, the rope glows? Yeah. How do you get these fishing poles? Well, you go to these little equipment shops.
Wonderful to see.
And they tell you, right? So go over to fishing poles, and I've got most of them unlocked. I still need a couple to get unlocked. But they'll tell you, for instance, the parrot one right here. Unlocked by earning the Hunter of Pondies title. How do you get the Hunter of Pondies? Well, Pondies is the name of a fish. So you go back into your rep, you look at your Hunter's Call. Let's go over to Pondies. And then down here, this is your title. When you unlock this title, you can get access to those fishing rods. How do you get this? You have to get one of every. So you have to get one of this guy, one of this guy, one of this guy, one of this guy, and one of this guy. It's the same for all the fish. Now there is a second page of fish over here. This is Wreckers. Now, there's some information going around that I've been stumbling across because I was trying to figure it out and I was looking at things up and I got frustrated because the information people have put out is basically this screen. People have concocted cute little graphs that tell you the exact same stuff that's on this screen. So, we spent 3 days. I have pages of notes and I actually have a spreadsheet of dollar values of some of the fishes and rep gains and whatnot when cooking versus, but that's not important. What we care about is how to get these fish. So, Wildsplashes, Plentifins, Devils, and Ancients all correspond to the 4 zones in the game. For those of you that are new or those of you that have never paid attention, there's 4 zones. Let's head over to my map and I will show you. If you zoom out, we're up here in the top right corner of the map. You come down the wilds. If you zoom in, it's not going to show. The wilds disappears. But this section of the map is the wilds. You come over to the top left, this is Shores of Plenty. The water and the environment will change also. Shores of Plenty is the very bright, vivid, see-through, aqua blue, tropical waters. Wilds is kind of dark and gloomy. And then down here in the bottom section is the Ancient Isles. And it's kind of a mix between Wilds and Shores of Plenty. And then the dreaded Devil's Roar is the dark, smoky, foggy, volcanic, ashy area. So Devilfish is in Devil's Roar. Wild fins are in Wilds. Ancient fish are in Ancient Isle. You get it? You get it? Shores of Plenty give you Plentifins. You also have to have bait. There's 3 kinds of bait. Plentifins like earthworms. Ancientscales like leeches. Pondies, well, we ignore Pondies. We'll get to those in a second. Wildsplashes like earthworms as well as Plentifins. Devilfish like grubs. Okay. You can click on it if you need it to be bigger. It shows you up top. The one unfortunate thing here, and keep in the back of your mind, I have a Discord that has lots of information of lots of the games that I cover, lots of the spreadsheet work that I do, information, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go back and over time go through my old streams and even spend some time continuing to fish. And we're going to get screenshots of these fish because the color of these icons are an okay indication. But sometimes when you're looking for the rare fish, it's a little hard to decipher, especially if you don't have a cloudy yet, what the 2 of them look like. So we're going to get screenshots. The image here in their in-game image always corresponds to the first one, which is the most common fish. Now there's also a good rule of thumb on how these are organized. From left to right is most common and least valuable to the rarest, with the exception of the last one. The last one is always going to be your nighttime fish, and they're always see-through, not see-through, but you can see them, they light up, they glow. So at nighttime when the moon is up, if you're fishing and there's a glowy fish, it's a nighttime fish, okay? You can only get nighttime fish at night. And the chances of getting other fishes during night also reduce. You can still get them, but you're pretty much going to see nighttime fishies. This one, the 4th spot, with there's a couple fish categories where it swaps. But this is your ultra rare. It's worth the most, usually around 1,000. It differs. But these guys, like sometimes if you're looking at the standard fish you can find everywhere in the map, which you'll get tired of seeing, like 25 gold for the standard. Ancient, these guys are like 35 or sorry, my bad, 75. Standards, the Splashtails are 25, these guys are 75. Anyways, so most common, this guy goes up in price a little bit, this guy goes up in price a little bit, but these three are your common you're going to see a lot of. And this is your ultra rare. You're going to be pissed off, struggling. You're going to be Googling. You're going to be looking for tips and tricks. You literally just got to keep farming. Sometimes we've gotten these on like the third cast. Sometimes we've gotten these after 2 hours of casting. They'll pop up if you have lots of friends farming for the same one at the same time with the right bait. You have a faster chance of getting it. And then your night times are actually really easy to get during nighttime. Now the fish that change... what was it? It was... I can't remember. We don't know about the Stormfish yet. A lot of people are having problems with this one. We'll go over that in a second. Yeah, Islehoppers. So this is... The Raven is actually your rare fish. And then the honey is not. How do I know that? Well, because I have caught one of everything, right? So the rare fish that requires less to get the grades. I've got grade 1 complete. Grade 1 requires one of everything to get it complete. Grade 1, grade 1, grade 1, grade 1. Then you start working on grade 2, right here behind my head. And then so grade 2 for a standard fish, they want you to collect 10. And then 10. If it's rare, phase 2 or grade 2 is 3. Grade 3 ends up being 5. But everything else goes to 2. So this, for some reason, the Islehoppers are switched. Raven is the rare. You'll notice that when you get a bunch of honeys. Islehoppers is also another reason why I was irritated looking up information on Reddit and other places, because people are just literally copying what the text says and coming up with their own theories. Islehoppers, yes, they're on islands, but they're not on all islands, and you can't just go to an island and get all Islehoppers. Go to the map. For instance, I've only been here once, but there's been lots of islands I've gone to multiple times in multiple different sessions, so aka different lobbies, and at different days. I've been farming for 3 days, but for instance, I'm just right here on the map right now. Sailor's Bounty is, that's where you find stone. If you're looking for stone, Islehoppers, Sailor's Bounty. If you're looking for honey, Crescent Isle will give you honey. And I have been here twice, and it's always been honey. Honey Island, Moss, let's see, I've been here 4 times now. This is all done on stream. Down here at Thieves Haven, I've been here 4 times in the course of 3 days now, and it's always Moss. So I've got a list of like 10 different locations. I have not mapped out the whole map. Another thing to keep in mind, you will not get Islehoppers at the smaller islands. So something like that. You won't get them at strongholds. This guy, you won't get it. Chicken Isle, you won't get them. They've got to be the big islands. Big islands. Big, small. I mean, if I have to explain to you what the difference is, then I can't. Big or small. I've been to maybe a dozen, if not more. I stopped writing the names of the islands down that don't give Islehoppers. There was a time where we had 4 of us fishing on one of them for almost 25 minutes. We could not get an Islehopper. So after lots of not getting them, I stopped writing them down and just gave up going to small islands. We've been to a bunch of them. Again, it seems like this game has a lot of RNG in it, so there could be a small chance that somebody has been like, oh, I got one there. Well, okay, well, good for you. Don't do it. I've spent 3 days, hours and hours, full streams, just fishing, okay? If they exist, it's rare. Go to the big islands. And then for instance, instead of giving you a big ass list for you to try to like pause and look and write down, I will have a list on my Discord of the locations once I map them out more. But for instance, if you go to Wanderer's Refuge and you get moss and you want honey, go to another big island, fish there. If you get honey and you're looking for moss, go to a different one. Same thing with stone. Now the Raven, which is their rare one, and then the nighttime, obviously nighttime at any of the big islands. But the Ravens you can get everywhere. I have a buddy that got a Raven over on Devil's Ridge. My Raven popped up, I just got it yesterday, at Smuggler's Bay. So, if you're looking for the rare, just wherever you're picking up Islehoppers, just keep fishing and you'll get a rare eventually. So that was the one thing about the Islehoppers that drove me nuts, was everybody's like, well, you just get them on islands. Look at Reddit, here's a chart. I'm like, the chart's the same thing as this screen right here. Okay. Devilfishes and Devil's Roar, we went over that. Ancient Isles, plenty. Wildsplashes, Splashtails. You're always going to get Splashtails no matter what. Even if you have bait on your hook, there's a chance to get Splashtails. So here's something that we realized last night when we were getting wreckers. So wreckers are only located on shipwrecks, even if the ship is submerged underwater. If you park your boat above the shipwreck and you're casting, you have a chance to get wreckers, but you have to use earthworms. If you're going to be going for wreckers, here's a big tip. Huge tip. We spent 2 hours last night just going. So this is the one we're reversed to. The snow is the rare one, and it for some reason is in the third slot. Third? When fishing for wreckers, remember, they take earthworms. If you are up in, I was just going to pull up the map, we don't need to. If you're up in Shores of Plenty, where Plentifins take earthworms, or you're up in the wilds, where Wildsplashes take earthworms, when you're using an earthworm on a shipwreck, you have a chance to get Wildsplashes or Plenties, depending on the two zones in the north of the map that you're fishing. You have a chance to get wreckers, and you have a chance to get Splashtails. So you're fishing up 3 different types of fish. There's 15 different fishies that could be coming up on you. If you're looking for wreckers, I recommend doing what we did not do. Go down to Ancients, go into Devil's Roar, and fish at a shipwreck in those 2 areas with earthworms, because Ancients require leeches, Devilfish require grubs. So if you're using earthworms, you're not going to be picking up Ancients or Devilfish. Make sense? Makes sense. Pondies, one of the best, there's a couple ponds that we've been to. Basically any kind of pond that you can fish at. Let me go to the map here. Devil's Ridge is the most popular one across everybody I've talked to. And it's down here in the Ancient Isles, right here. This big pond right here. So this Devil's Ridge is a good place to get Pondies. Another one that we spent the other day, it was a donut. I can't remember the name of it. This island right here, Cursewater Shores. Now, you are going to get hit by the volcano over here at Fletcher's Rest. We parked our boat fairly over here and then fished in here. That was a good pond. There is a lot of erupting happening, but there's a lot of rocks inside the pond. You can kind of see them that you can stand on. And then we even, another trick that you can do with friends, if you're fishing with friends and you have a hard time seeing the fish, I don't know if it maybe your graphics card, your TV, maybe your eyesight, maybe you're just not good at colors, colorblind, you can have a friend stand in this pond. Same thing over at Devil's Ridge. And he can call out what fish you are, especially if you're looking for rare fish. They can help you with that. Okay, Battlegills. Battlegills are another one I've heard a lot of misinformation about and confusion and frustration. These guys are only available at active skull forts. I know you can get them in ship battles too, or so I've been told. I haven't tested it. I don't know. Maybe you could be on a ship next to an island, and as a patrolling ship's going by, you shoot at it, and the music pops on. That might work too. That just seems a little. It might be safer if you're worried about PvP. If you had somebody repairing your ship or something, I don't know. Anyways, so the misinformation is you can get them at all skull forts. That is inaccurate. We spent with 4 of us 25 minutes with grubs, because these guys take grubs, fishing at an inactive fort. Nothing. Now, if you can, and it's possible, after 25 minutes, that's not worth my time. So if that's what you want to do, and you think you can do it, again, after 25 minutes, we gave up. So we went to an active skull fort, and it's literally, they're popping out of the water left and right, left and right, left and right. I mean, you do get Splashtails. You're always going to get Splashtails. There's a chance for Splashtails no matter what. So 4 of us got these pretty quick. It only took us a couple minutes, maybe, not a couple. It took us, what was it, maybe 15 minutes till we got the sand Battlegill. Last night when I was streaming, there was probably 5 or 6 people that came in asking how to get it. If it's a rare fish, with the wreckers, we spent 2 hours, 2 of us fishing on top of an exposed shipwreck up in the wilds with earthworms. 2 hours until we got the white one, the snow wrecker. And that's our fault because we were using bloodworms or earthworms in the wrong zone because we were getting wild fins, wreckers, and splashtails. So, again, for my tip earlier. So this one, if you're going to the Skull Fort, it's really not that hard. You just park your boat close enough to the edge to where you're going to be out of the line of sights of a bunch of the cannons on the thing. Even if you have to sacrifice line of sight to one tower, you can have a buddy or you can go clear the tower out and then go back to fishing. You might even be able to fish off the tower. But just get it close enough to the island where you're not in line of sight of a bunch of cannons. You don't have to necessarily get on the island. I always fish from my boat next to the islands for everything. I usually fish from my boat next to shipwrecks. I fish from my boat next to the islands. I fished from my boat in the open water. You can catch everything from your boat. So you don't have to go stand in the water on the island to trigger anything. But again, if you're looking for rares, there's no tips that I can come up with besides just cast, recast until you see it. What else we got? Got all these. Pondies. Pondies are the same thing, yeah, freshwater. Stormfishes are the last ones we're working on. Now, Stormfishes, here's some tricks. When your bell is active, so if you're in the rain, that doesn't mean you're in the storm. You have to get close enough to where your compass starts to spin and or your bell starts to ding. That means you're in a storm. We spent, I don't know, 5-10 minutes trolling around on a sloop, like on the edge of the storm where we were getting affected with the compass. I had to fight. My boat would break from fighting the waves. So then I had to bail and repair, and then the boat would spin. We'd have to return and go back as my buddy was trying to cast in the water, and it's rough water. And he has a hard time seeing the fish regardless. So he couldn't even see half the time when the fish would grab his bait. And obviously we were low on leeches, so we were really trying to only pull up the green and the reds. And so he lost a bunch of bait to whites and blues without seeing what they were. One of the things that we were trying to do is then we got frustrated of trolling in the water. So if you can figure out where the storm is moving, you can try to go through it until you get to an island or a sea post and get off in time and then get a few casts in while the storm is still there. We were lucky enough last night. We were down in the Ancients, and I don't know, I'm going to start charting because that's what we're going to be doing is Stormfish now for the next day or two. I'm going to start paying attention to the storms because it moves, but I think it stops. And I could be wrong. There could be people already online that have talked about storms. I haven't seen anything on storms. But down here so we're down in the Ancients, right? Right here, next to Snake Island is Steven's Spoils. Our storm was in this area, and we had chased it through all the way up to Snake Island, and we went through it and waited, and it came up and then it turned, and so we went back into the storm and we stopped off at Steven's Spoils, dead center of the storm. We were there for probably 40 minutes in the storm. Nah, maybe not 40, maybe half hour. And the storm didn't move. We were literally in the storm forever. So that I didn't realize that the storm might move and stop at locations. So now I'm curious if they stop around the sea posts. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. Maybe they just stop randomly. Maybe they don't even stop. Maybe it was actually like circling and figuring out where. I don't know. We were lucky enough to sit here. We got the night one. We never did find the other ones. And then a buddy pointed out in chat. I'm surprised I didn't notice this. So all I kept getting was the ancient stormfish. That's all I could get. All I could get was ancient stormfish. And then at nighttime we'd get the twilight. And the twilight, by the way, and this is where the colors are a little awkward. The twilight has glowy orange fins. That's purple. The twilight has orange glowy fins. So again, I'm going to work on getting screenshots and put those up on my Discord. I know this is a long video. There's a lot of stuff here. And I might break it down. Nah. Stormfish, shores, ancient, wild, shadow. So, from what we know with the other fishies, wild, this guy has to be up in the wilds, in a storm in the wilds. This guy has to be in a storm in shores of plenty. And this guy is all we could get down in the ancients. Right? Right. So, we're going to look for a storm tonight in wilds, and we're going to probably get the green one pretty easily. Because I was going to get a ton of ancients. So we'll get the green guy. Now, based on what we've seen with how they classify fish and locations, one would presume Shadow is over in Devil's Roar. There's storms in Devil's Roar? I don't know. I haven't. I've been playing off and on for 2 years, but I don't play. I mean, I've played more now with this update than I have in a long time. So, if it's not, some people were thinking this might also be a night fish. I don't know. I didn't see it. I think it's Devil's Roar. It's got to be Devil's Roar. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. But that's how that all works. I don't think there was much more about the fish. So that covers up pretty much where to find the fish. Again, rare fish, we've seen them as early as originally the day one. We figured rare fish would pop between 10 to 15 casts. Maybe it got stealth nerfed. I don't know. But since then, it's taken us quite a bit of time. Again, don't make the mistake we did with the wreckers by fishing in an area where you're trying to get where you're pulling up 3 different types of fish. That's not efficient. So make sure you're eliminating the most amount of fish you can get when you're fishing with bait. And then if you're going for a rare fish, you could pick up fish and use it for rep. It's gonna make it longer to get your rare fish. But we typically just if we're going for a specific fish, we don't pick up fish until that one pops. Again, I'll have a few documents of some sort of locations of Islehoppers on my Discord, and links will the description below. And I'll have, once I get the spreadsheet more filled out, the dollar values of all the fish, raw versus cooked, and also including trophy fish. I also stream daily over on Twitch at twitch.tv/SlyGumbi, usually between the hours of 8 p.m. till about 2 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's West Coast United States. Anyways, I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye now.